What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Alex, joined today by my co-host, Ryan. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Just getting closer to football. I'm getting excited, and like I told you just a few minutes ago, getting a little nervous.
It's definitely becoming real that the potential of us not having a season or having a shortened season are definitely becoming a real thing, and it's very scary. Makes me sad. I guess we should start with probably the biggest news that happened, I think, yesterday, right? Or was it 2
Yeah.
days? So Cam Newton has signed a 1-year, $7.7 million deal with the New England Patriots, but it's actually $1 million and then $6 million in incentives. It's a very incentive-laden contract, but I like it for both sides. But I'm going to let Ryan start on this one.
Yeah. I'm happy for Cam, but I'm not happy about the signing because now I actually have to play a competent quarterback in my division twice a year. I was really hoping we could just beat up on the Patriots because, they lost a lot on defense, and, I don't believe in Jarrett Stidham or Brian Hoyer all that much. But now I'm kind of worried because Cam's a good quarterback, and, I do think it was a great deal for both sides because, Cam has been pretty injury prone the last few years. I think he's coming off his second or third consecutive injury. So it's probably a lot of, if you play this many snaps, it might even be some performance-based too, where if he throws X amount of yards or X amount of touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's definitely I feel like it's the best that the Patriots could do. This was the best case scenario for them because they were so cap strapped. So I feel like the fact that they even signed Cam is amazing to me. I thought it was a great signing for them, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah, it's a great deal for, I think, both sides because it puts the Patriots back in contention, at least for the division, and it gives Cam Newton a 1-year trial to prove it to another team or even to prove it to the Patriots as, hey, I can still be your starting quarterback going forward. But I've thought about it a lot over the last 2 days since it happened, and I'm not sure that it's going to change all that much. I think the division is Buffalo's to lose 100%.
Yeah.
And I think Cam is going into a very similar situation to what he had in Carolina, other than he has a much better head coach. He's going into an offense where he is going to have to be the guy. You have a 34-year-old Edelman, an injury-prone Sony Michel. You have a poor man's Christian McCaffrey and James White. And then behind that, you have a Mohamed Sanu coming off injury and then N'Keal Harry who hasn't really proved himself. And not the best offensive line. And you have an elite defense. So it reminds me of his that run that he had from 2014 to 2017 with Carolina where it's hey, the offense isn't really that good, but you have a great defense.
Yeah.
I wonder if Belichick can bring something else out of Cam that Ron Rivera couldn't. And I think he probably will, but I think Cam's going to have to ball out if this team wants to do anything better than 8-8.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. I think that we're going to see a different Cam than we're used to. I think that Belichick might keep him in the pocket more, and although their O-line isn't the best, this is definitely, I feel an upgrade to some of the O-lines he was behind in Carolina. Because, at some times you guys did have some good offensive lines, but, you had some down years as well. But, they've got guys like Joe Thuney. I don't know if I said his last name right. Shaq Mason. They've got some decent pieces on that line. So I feel like they'll be able to hold it for him a little better. And
so
I don't think we'll see a much more mobile Cam than we're used to.
Quick question. You think he's 100% the starter, right?
I hope so. If they even try to pull a Jarrett Stidham, Cam Newton that'll end day 2 of training camp.
I think if anything, it would be more of hey, Stidham, we're 6-10. No, not 6-10. We're I don't know, 2-8. You want to come in for the rest of the year? I don't think if they have any sort of success, I think Cam Newton's the starter. But if they suck, I think they might see what they have in Stidham.
Yeah, absolutely. If they have, let's say the season goes off the rails, they have no emotional attachment to Cam at all. It's a 1-year deal, and they're trying to build Stidham up. At least potentially, he might be the guy They might go after someone in the draft. Who knows? But I think that you're right. If it does go downhill and not as expected, I think Stidham could be playing by like week 7 or week 8.
And they also do not have the easiest of schedules. I mean,
They don't.
Miami, the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. That's their first 5 games before their bye week. And then after the bye, they go 49ers, Bills, Jets, and Ravens. So, like, that's a tough beginning to your schedule. Tough first 8 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I see Seahawks probably a loss, Chiefs probably a loss, Broncos toss-up, and then 49ers and Bills, I would give both of those a loss. So that puts them at 3-4 going into week 8. I don't know. I love the signing for Cam Newton. I hope he does great. I did find it interesting that the only other team to even work him out – or no, not even work him out, but to just talk to him was the Browns.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, if I said, would you rather go to the Patriots or the Browns, you're obviously going to pick the Patriots. One, because you have a chance to start. He wasn't going to start over Baker Mayfield. So, I don't know. It makes sense. I hope him the best.
But with the whole Browns things coming out, does that kind of like indicate to you that like Stefanski is not as committed to Baker as we would like him to be? Like that kind of proved to me right away that like Baker's probably not going to be his guy. And if things go downhill for Baker this year, he could be looking for another team next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've been saying it pretty much all offseason that we think this is a real prove-it year for Baker where he has to either put up or shut up. Like, there's no more you don't have an offensive line excuses. They filled those holes this offseason. So he pretty much has one of the best wide receiving cores in the league, a really good running back tandem, a decent offensive line, a decent defense. Like, this is the year. If you're the guy, you need to be up there with Lamar and Big Ben competing for that division, not
That's right.
8-8 with Cincinnati in the back of the division.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see what they do. But I would have also kind of liked to see that like clash with Baker and Baker and Cam. I thought that would have been interesting. Before we move off of Cam, I did see a tweet last night though, or a few tweets actually. I think one was Tony Jefferson and just a few other reporters. They were talking about how Chase Daniels of the Lions is making $13 million, and Cam and Jameis are only making a potential like $10 million. And I'm like, guys, first off, that's a terrible thing like to compare because Chase Daniels' contract is over 3 years, so it's 13 over 3 years. So he's not making $13 million in 2020. Like, and Cam and Jameis are both 1-year deals. So I mean, I just didn't like the comparison. I feel like that's kind of trying to start stuff that doesn't need to be started. I mean, you've got one guy who's coming off his 3rd consecutive injury and one guy who just threw 30 interceptions in a whole league that does not have a lot of demand for quarterbacks. Now, why Chase Daniel got that deal over Jameis and Cam, I have no idea. But I don't like can you believe that? I don't know. I just didn't like the comparison. I don't like the finger pointing. Like it is what it is. These guys are both on prove-it years. I don't know.
They were
How do you feel about
trying to start something. Chase Daniels is supposed to make $4.3 million for the next 3 years. I mean, his signing bonus was $2 million, and then he had $5 million of it guaranteed. So he's making $4 million. So Cam has a chance to make more than him this year if Cam balls out. Jameis signed a lesser deal to go to the Saints. He was offered more money by another team. We don't know how much that money was, but I agree with you. I think that reporter was just trying to start stuff. Obviously, I think Cam and Jameis are both better than Chase Daniels. I think we can both agree with that. But at the same time, Chase Daniels signed as a backup for 3 years, like you said, for $13 million. He's a reliable backup. He's probably one of the best backups in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I put Jameis over that. But, again, Jameis was offered more money and turned it down to go sit behind Drew Brees, where Cam was basically running out of options because COVID happened. He can't be worked out. He can't be looked at by team doctors. So he was kind of forced into signing with a team, and he signed for it's a $1 million contract with $7 million in incentives. So he can make $7 million, which is more than Chase Daniels. So that reporter was reaching, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's a crazy world. And I mean, we've been talking about it for months. This has been a crazy offseason for quarterbacks because there's so many good ones in the league right now that it's kind of hard to find a job. And I mean, guys like Cam Newton should not be left in the free agent market, but stuff happens. But anyways, moving on. While we're talking about free agents, I guess we could talk about some of the better free agents still in the market. Anybody sticking out to you?
Yeah, so I just pulled up – this is the top 100, but I'm just looking at the top 10. I mean, obviously Clowney's out there. I don't know what he's waiting on. He's not going to get the money. So why aren't you signing with a team with – like, why aren't you signing with the Browns? Could you imagine Garrett and Clowney on opposite sides, or even like literally any team? Like, I don't understand why he's not signing with somebody on a 1-year prove-it deal. You're only 27. So if you sign with a team, you go ball out for a year, get 15 sacks or something like that. You're 28 going back into free agency next year. Carolina, I'm sure, will gladly give you however much money you want because we have $100 million to spend next year. So just go sign a 1-year deal with a team. I don't know what he's waiting on.
Yeah, and I feel like unlike Cam, you know, there is a market for Clowney. Like, I feel like he's definitely got suitors. And he's not going to get paid at this point. He's just got to take his lumps and hope he gets paid next year.
Yeah, like, you've waited long enough. The market is over for you. Just sign with whatever team's offering you the most money, if that's what you're after, or sign with the team that you think will get you the biggest return on your investment. Like, if you think the Cowboys – I mean, see, like, I just Googled Clowney rumors, and the top teams that come up are the Cowboys, Seahawks, and who is this other team? Eagles. Sign with one of those teams. What are you waiting on?
Sign with the team that has the best chance to get a Super Bowl ring. Get yourself a ring, and then next year get yourself a bag.
Yeah, like, why aren't you calling the Chiefs and saying, "Hey, 1 year, $8 million, I'm there. What are we waiting on?"
Yeah.
Could you imagine him and Chris Jones? You got him coming off the end and Chris coming up the middle. Like, it's disgusting. And then other than that, Larry Warford is out there. He's a guard, but he's 30, so I don't know if anybody really wants him. Logan Ryan is interesting to me. I'm not sure why he's not on a team yet.
Same. I was going to bring Logan Ryan.
Actually, him and Everson Griffin. I don't get – Everson Griffin, I get it. He's 32, about to be 33. But you're telling me he can't sign for, like, a Michael Bennett role with the team? Like what Bennett's been doing for the last, like, 5 years? And then I guess the flashiest name probably is Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon, just because they're wide receivers. Dang, there's actually some good free agents left still.
Yeah, man. I really liked I think they came out and said it wasn't going to happen, but I really liked the Antonio Brown to the Ravens rumor. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that would be really cool just to have cousins at opposite ends with Marquise Brown.
Really cool, yeah.
And I mean, like,
AB's weird to me, man.
Yeah, I feel like he does deserve at least a second chance to try to get his act together. But after that, if it doesn't come, it's just.
So I think he'll get a job. It's just like who is going to be the team that? I mean, the obvious choice to me is San Francisco, especially with not N'Keal Harry.
Deebo Samuel.
Deebo Samuel getting hurt. Like, call Antonio Brown, say, "Hey, here's a 1-year deal. What are we waiting on?" Although apparently I just Googled him, and 4 minutes ago from Diana Rossini from ESPN, Tampa Bay is not interested in Antonio Brown per sources at Tampa. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, if Tom wants him there, I'm sure he'll end up there because I don't know if you heard, but like a few months ago, Bruce Arians came out and was like, I had nothing to do with Gronkowski coming to Tampa Bay. That was all Tom. So, I mean, if Tom really wants AB, I don't think Bruce Arians is going to be like, nah. But oh my gosh, that offense would be ridiculous. Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, AB, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfair. Honestly, is what it is. AB, Josh Gordon's interesting to me. I could see him going somewhere like Green Bay.
Is he suspended still or no?
He applied for reinstatement like 3 days ago. So technically, if he gets off of the commissioner's exempt list, I think he can still be suspended. I'm not really sure. Devonta Freeman is also another very interesting guy that I think won't get signed until probably training camp.
I was thinking about him this morning, and I was trying to think of places that he could fit in really well, and I can't think of many. Like, maybe I'm just being weird.
I'm trying to think of some.
Exactly. Nothing really comes to me. I mean, if the Jags want to get rid of Leonard Fournette, he would be an easy, like, Band-Aid to cover that with.
I mean, you could put him on the Bucks, honestly.
I would like that. A nice little duo with Ronald Jones.
Or Carolina, back up McCaffrey. Who are some other teams that might need a running back?
I think no. Seattle signed Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, Seattle signed Carlos Hyde. I'm trying to think. There aren't really that many teams that need a running back. That's the thing is I think he's going to have to get hurt.
Yeah, he might be like a mid-season add to somebody.
Yeah, you got to think about it though. Also, with all these free agents, there's definitely going to be people during the season. Cross our fingers that it actually happens. That end up getting COVID, and a lot of these guys are going to again get signed.
Yeah.
Like, just some other names. Rashad Jones, safety from Miami. He's still a free agent. Jason Peters, Timmy Jurgens, Delaney Walker. I mean, I know they're old, but they can still play.
Yeah, exactly.
Jansa. Taylor Gabriel's an interesting one to me, the wide receiver. I don't know why he's not on the team.
Yeah, that still has remained a mystery to me. I figured when the Bears released him, because they released him and Amukamara on the same day, and I thought those guys were going to be like quick pickups. And Amukamara just signed like a few weeks ago to the Raiders. But yeah, I don't understand.
Again, I wonder if teams are just waiting for people to get hurt or to see what happens with the season. I don't know. Also,
I feel like Taylor Gabriel would fit really well with the Titans.
Don't you feel like Demaryius Thomas has been in the league for maybe 50 years?
Yeah, he's on his way out.
Guess how old he is, though?
33?
32. I would have said he was way older than that. I would have said like 36. Who's the oldest free agent on this top 100 list?
It's got to be Peters. Jason Peters?
Jason Peters and Cameron Wake are both 38.
That's ridiculous.
And then behind them is Tremaine Williams, who is 37, and he's a corner. The fact that he plays corner and he's 37 and still in the league is crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I'm more impressed with those guys playing right there than Tom Brady playing at like 43.
Like Clay Matthews being 34 is damn impressive. Who else? I mean, Rashad Jones is 33, and he's number.
I didn't know he was that old. I thought he was like 28 max.
No, he's 32, about to be 33, and he's number 12 on this list.
That's crazy.
And you got Everson Griffin's about to be 33. But I guess we can move on for more free agents unless you had anything else to add.
No, I'm good.
I guess we can talk about the Hall of Fame game getting canceled, which no one really watches the Hall of Fame game anyway. I mean, I'll watch like the first 5 minutes of it to get me excited for football, but then I don't really talk about it anymore. I believe it was canceled just because of concerns about COVID. Like, they didn't think it was necessary to have the teams travel and have it happen. So, I mean, it sucks that there's not a Hall of Fame game, I guess, but it is what it is.
I'm more terrified for the meaning behind it because we are getting so close to football season that if stuff like that starts getting canceled, I don't know, it just worries me. And I know that was kind of like – one also kind of classifies under the new CBA. Like, I know they were trying to shorten preseason, so maybe that's also where that's coming from. But being so close to the actual like regular season, I don't know. It just worries me a little bit since we're so close.
I have a weird feeling that if the season does happen, they're going to play like one preseason game.
I could see that.
I think what they might do is play one preseason game and then expand the active roster to like, what is it now? 54 is the roster?
Yeah.
53. I think they would expand it to maybe like 65 or 70. So you could just keep guys on the roster even going into the season, just in case. Because it's going to be hard to make cuts with a shortened offseason, a shortened preseason. Like, you're not going to – good players are going to get cut that shouldn't be cut.
Yeah.
Especially rookies. And then
Well, they might have –
go
well, I
ahead.
know they already, like, they expended – or excuse me. I don't know what – words are hard today for me, man. They already expanded the size of the practice squad, so maybe they'll, like, expand it even more.
That's true.
Yeah. So we could just stow guys away.
I guess we can jump right into the next topic because it kind of has to do with COVID, is that moving away from football a little bit, the NBA and the NHL are both supposed to start at the end of July. And now, as of like a week ago, the MLB is supposed to begin, I believe, July 24th, something like that. So it looks as if the majority of the major sports are coming back. NASCAR is already back. MMA is back. And then the NBA, NHL, and MLB are all starting up at the end of July, hopefully, even with the boost in COVID. It looks as if we're going to get sports back. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited. You know, I almost kind of forgot what it feels like to watch like a live sporting event. But the end of July is going to be a very exciting time, and I'm honestly probably going to – between those three sports, I'm going to be glued to the TV trying to watch as much as I can. But I really hope that all three of those go very well because I feel like the NFL is kind of like watching from behind a bush on how those three go and how they handle their business.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, if it goes well, we'll have a season when it's supposed to start in September. And I pray and hope that we get a full season that starts on time, man.
Me too. Of the sports coming back, so NBA, NHL, and MLB, which one are you the most excited for?
Probably NBA. But I mean, I'm excited for all of them. I'm excited to watch the NHL's weird little playoff round robin.
It's literally the playoffs are starting when the NHL starts, so that's going to be exciting. And then I think the MLB has a real chance to bring in a lot of new fans with this 60-game format that they're going to have, because normally there's 80 games or something.
180, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, half the games don't matter. But if there's 60 games, if you go on, like, a 5-game losing streak, you could be out of the playoffs. So, like, I think every single MLB game we see is going to be, like, a playoff format, and it's going to be really exciting. But at the same time, NBA will be interesting because I think the NBA is the one where it's like, if somebody tests positive, how are they going to handle it? Because baseball, you're kind of far away. Like, you're not really up close and personal, really. But, like, NBA, you're rubbing on – and hockey the same time, but they're playing in, like, a bubble where the NBA, it seems like they're a little bit laxer on their COVID rules where, like, you're allowed to leave, but if you leave, you have to be tested again. And it just seemed very weird. So I was like – plus, a lot of NBA stars are saying that they're not going to go to Orlando for the start of the season. So – I don't know. It's exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how some of these teams fill the holes of guys like Trevor Ariza and Avery Bradley, who have already come out and said that they're not going to be participating at the end of next month.
Yeah, and then DeAndre Jordan said that he's not going with the Nets because he tested positive for corona yesterday. So it'll be interesting. I know the Lakers are replacing Avery Bradley with J.R. Smith. But it is weird. Like, I don't get that. Like, so is J.R. Smith now a part of the Lakers into next season, or is he just – like, I think that's something they need to better explain to the public.
I feel like this is like a weird new contract. It's kind of like a two-way contract that you give like a second round rookie, like where they're on the roster for like 60 days and then they go to like the G League team.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, except there's no G League, where like it's just like hey, we'll pay you this amount for like however far we go.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's kind of like I feel like they had to like do a makeshift contract for these guys. It's interesting.
Yeah, and like Avery Bradley still gets paid even though he's not going with them to Orlando. So I don't know. It's going to mess up the salary cap a little bit. But all in all, I'm happy that sports are coming back. I hope everybody's staying safe so that we can get sports back. Please wear your masks so that we can have NFL football. Please. You got anything else to add before we wrap this one up?
I don't think so, man. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said wear your mask. If you want a football season, please wear your mask and be safe and
Please.
keep
All
doing
right.
what you're doing. Unless you're not wearing masks, and stop doing what you're doing.
Yes. You guys have a good weekend. We appreciate you. Appreciate all the support. See you guys later.